Welcome to Should I Read It? Should I Read It is a weekly podcast that takes a deep dive into books. I'll provide a summary of the book and tell you how the ideas in the book relate across all the books we've covered so far. Welcome to Should I Read It? Episode 28. After a brief hiatus, maybe a long hiatus, as we launched a book called The Art of Focus, we're going to talk about coach the person, not the problem. Now, according to this book, there are 3 different parties in any coaching relationship. Number 1 is the coach. Number 2 is the person. Number 3 is the problem. According to Chad W. Hall, there's also 3 levels of coaching, which he describes in his book, Coach the Person, Not the Problem. First is beginner, where they coach the problem. 2 is better, they're coaching the problem through the person. Number 3 is transformational, coach the person for internal change. Hall contends in this short guide that most coaches focus on the first level only. They assume that they have more experience in their clients and offer solutions to problems. This is more consulting really than coaching in his opinion. He wants coaches to operate at level 2 and use level 3 when appropriate. This book is about getting you to focus on the person, which is the essence of being at level 3. Here's a quote from the book. The purpose of this book is to encourage you to focus your attention on the client. He also has a caveat up front. If you're just starting coaching, the book is not for you. He feels that you need some time in the coaching chair, having conversations to understand what he's saying and even have the option of operating at level 2 or level 3. So let's start with the beginner as he looks at it, where you coach the problem. This is where coaches start, and it focuses on the problem only. The client describes the situation to the coach, and the coach has a bunch more experience and maybe reading, and then they have a solution. The problem here is that according to Hall, is that the client has little ownership over the solution because they didn't invest in building it. They're implementing the solution provided by the coach. Many coaches get stuck here because it feels so good to be useful about solving problems. I agree, totally is. It never brings about real personal internal change though. So level 2, that's where you're better. You coach the problem through the person. Level 2 means you get the client to talk deeply about what the problem means to them. They dig in and you facilitate developing their problem-solving skills. This level is better because it builds the client's problem-solving capacity, and it's not just consulting. But according to Hall, it doesn't bring about transformation in the client. It only brings incremental change. So that's going to bring us to level 3, transformation, where you coach the person for internal change. Here's a quote from Hall. When you coach at this level, you are sensitive to the fact that sometimes the goal of coaching isn't just to solve a problem, but to help the client grow, develop, and even transform. Now we get to our 3rd level, the one that brings transformation to a client. This is the level where you probe deeply and a mindset changes, or an old, poor habit gets kicked. This is not asking rapid-fire questions, but being comfortable with silence, letting a client brew on the ideas floating around. This is one of the reasons transformation is hard. We want to solve problems and wait for our turn to speak. One trap with transformation is you can't always operate here. If you keep going for transformation with a client, they're never going to get anything done. You're just always changing them. You do have to do level 2 coaching and help clients solve the new problems inside the transformation. Hall leaves us with 2 final ideas. First, you got to be creative as you coach. Firing down a list of questions and examples to use with everyone just won't work. Second, thinking that emotions are just something off to the side that they don't mean anything is totally wrong. Avoid labeling the emotions of the people you coach. Let them do it, or just remain without comment. This episode of Should I Read It is brought to you by my latest book, The Art of Focus. If you're tired of running around trying different ideas and getting no traction, if you are tired of having ideas, but you never actually get to work on them, if you're just tired, then The Art of Focus is for you. It's going to give you the exact systems I've used to build my ideal life, set up my time so that I can really work and get lots done in the 6 hours a day that I work most days, and test my ideas in the marketplace so that I know they succeed. You can purchase it on Amazon at curtismchale.ca/recommends/AOF. So as always, our final question is, should you read Coach the Person, Not the Problem? Now, what I love in this is I do really like the levels of coaching. And this book did have me thinking that I sit probably too much at level 1 currently. So there are some valid takeaways, but you get it all in my even shorter look at this book right here. The book is only about a 15-minute read, which means it's not much longer than this actually. To make it better, more examples of the levels and better instructions on how to better move up them as a coach would be great. Thanks for listening to Should I Read It? To support the show, you can leave me a review in iTunes or a heart or a star in whatever podcast player you use. These help more people find the show. If you want to get more reading done, you should get an Audible membership. If you use curtismchale.ca/recommends/audible, that will help the production of the show financially.